But it was crazy because the crowd, like, that's what made the show even crazier, was that they're all singing it.
You could feel it in the air.
Bro, you just, like, oh, just
they're all just dropping N-bombs because it's different over there.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's totally okay.
Did you guys hear that Nike very recently just let go or fired their CEO and stock prices?
They finally got rid of Phil Knight.
It went up.
No, not Phil Knight.
Michael Jordan, I think it is.
It was Kobe, actually.
Finally.
That's so mean.
He's been holding the company back. All he cares about is just.
And the stock prices went up.
Stock prices went up, and they're seeking to go back to their previous CEO, actually.
Who is?
So they just fired John Donahoe. Are you familiar with this? You heard about this?
Yeah, I was reading.
Of course you did.
Do you know any of these guys? John Donahoe. Oh.
And then they're bringing back longtime executive Elliot Hill out of retirement in a bid to return the struggling athletic brand.
Why did the stock
Are
jump
they struggling?
from firing him? Was he a controversial figure, or did he keep making bad moves?
I guess it was just overall probably just a continuation of moves that just didn't put Nike where it's meant to be. So like from what I've heard and from what I've understood with the company as well, for example, Nike has always been like the top running brand. Like that's like where it got its big start with, you know, Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight. Back in the day, like it was all about
Bill Knight.
All about running. They literally had their like Winnebago van they would take out to like run meets and stuff like that. They would have shoes out the back of the van. Like,
Blue Ribbon
the whole
Sports.
Story came from Blue Ribbon Sports came from running.
So they let Hoka win.
Yeah, and since in the last few years, people like On Running, Hoka, and stuff like that.
On Running has been crazy.
So many brands now.
Higher top tier running concept of a brand, and Nike Running has completely dropped, and they're spreading themselves thin into so many other different places. You know what I mean, like yoga or even like dancing or whatever. You know, so to not even be the number one of like kind of your bread and butter, and to expand, which also means a lot of R&D, a lot of risks, a lot of new markets and stuff like that. Like they just found that things weren't working as well. So
They were too focused on basketball.
Well, basketball was like a big move for him, no?
Basketball was a great move for them, but Jordan Brand does most of that stuff anyways.
Because I know they had the LeBrons, and then I don't know if they're gonna do anything. I'm surprised they didn't do anything with the Kobe's.
No,
Are they gonna bring them back?
They brought back their contract with Kobe. Well, actually, Vanessa and the family.
His wife,
So that's like the return of that franchise and stuff. But I mean, it's no LeBron or Jordan even. You know.
Because I feel like my favorite shoes from Nike were always like the running shoes and then like the Kobe's. Those are like my personal favorite.
No Jordans?
Oh, I like the Jordans too, but like, you know, at the certain era of like when the Kobe had all those like new ones, like all the guys at my age were like, oh dude, they got all these crazy colorways, and it was like a big deal. But then recently I feel like the Nike running shoes have been kind of like not as good.
I didn't know that.
I don't know shit about all this stuff, but I don't think Hoka takes market share away from Nike though. Because I don't think Nike has ever been the true runner's shoe. They've always been runner's lifestyle shoe, but real runners always went to Asics,
like
Mizuno.
hardcore runners?
Yeah, like Brooks. I think Hoka
not from a marketing level though, because like for example, Nike was able to secure many like longtime Olympic representation, like
runners.
Like all the runners at the Olympics will wear like Nikes and stuff.
And don't they have, Nike has that like really special fancy shoe for marathons?
Yep.
The Vapor Fly.
Yeah, the Vapor Flies, yeah.
And they're like $200, like $300, and those.
Yeah,
are,
I would
like,
argue
their
that
main
Nike
ones,
was
right?
for sure like a runner's shoe, or at least branded wise. Whether they were better or not, like I don't know.
I don't know any real runners that wore Nike.
But then it's like which era, because you're talking about the inception of Nike in the.
I'm talking about the last 2 decades.
Right.
I don't think Nike has been.
No, they fell off the
It's
last
true,
two.
because remember when I went to the marathon, there was a Nike van that was just full of new Nikes. If you didn't have Nikes on, you could trade whatever you were wearing for Nike.
Really?
They would just give you Nikes. Hella people weren't doing it.
Dude, I'm telling you, Hoka seems like the leading.
There was hella people just cool with whatever they had on. They were just like, yeah, I mean.
That's why I don't think Hoka's a threat. I think they did something wrong internally or with their branding or whatever, but I don't think like
You think it was a political thing?
True runners market? I don't know. I think the true
I think
runners
Hoka and On have taken massive market share.
from Nike.
Or maybe just like regular fitness people. Is that where you think they're taking it from?
I know those two brands specifically have taken a lot of like footwear market share, but a big thing that that previous CEO did was pull out of all wholesale. So he wanted to stop selling wholesale. I don't know if it's a global thing or just in North America. So, and he wanted to focus everything through Nike stores and Nike direct to consumer.
You're talking about Donahoe?
Yeah.
The guy we just got.
Oh, so that's why you don't see Nike shoes at like those running shoe store
So then they kind of
retailers.
hit hard with the pandemic, and everybody was purchasing online, and it was doing well. And now they're going back into wholesale. And then on top of that, what I read is they also have just gotten very stale with their styles. When On and Hoka have created totally new styles, new technology, and a lot of Nike stuff. You know,
Same.
If anybody kind of says a model you like, it's probably been around for quite a while, right?
Still the original one.
Classic looking, yeah.
What everybody likes, where these guys have brought in something. I mean, Hoka's, when we probably all first saw them, we're like, what the heck is that thing? Just looks like this massive shoe. And then, you know, the outsole On is so interesting, right? Whether you like them or not.
The
Squiggly.
zigzag,
It's
yeah.
like so unique. And you think about Nike and you're like, it's kind of the same stuff you've seen forever, right?
Yeah.
But I think a combination of that wholesale piece and their lack of kind of new product in the market, they took a massive like backseat.
Whoa.
What do you have any thoughts on like why bringing back their older CEO, Elliot, whatever his name is, like how that can? Is it just more going back to the old structure of business?
Yeah, and I think going back to what's always worked for them, which has been a combination of wholesale plus direct to consumer, not just specifically focusing on one thing, and then also getting back to like being really good. Like that was always their thing. They're always like they wanted to be the best in basketball, the best in running. Like whatever they did, they
Yeah.
wanted.
All their athletes were the best in their
Because
respective.
that's also why
They're
stopped,
innovative.
They stopped doing Nike Golf because there was like no point in just doing another like offshoot extension and being in the market versus
Right.
being the best
Right.
of core markets.
And that's what they've always done good at.
That's true, because every time I was looking at like Nike shoes, the main selling point was always like the new tech.
Yeah.
I remember the last one I saw was like they put these little beads in your shoe, and you're like, oh, there's beads in my shoe now. This is gonna make me faster. This will be better. I'm gonna buy these beads, you know. But now it's like there's nothing fancy. It's just the same old shit.
I mean, they had such a crazy track record of innovation all the time, right?
The beads, you know what I'm telling you?
Look, we were always seeing like
He really liked it.
They don't make them anymore.
the Nike Shocks, right? Or like the first time they made the Air Max with the bubble in the shoe. And
Oh, the
air.
bubble!
Or like the
It helps you
Vapor Max.
jump.
Vapor Max.
Vapor Max are crazy. I didn't even actually like them.
They're not that comfortable, honestly.
Or like the Flynet material. Like there was a string of long time like
Innovation.
constantly
Yeah.
innovating.
And being with the culture, like Nike SB,
Yeah.
or like even like I like their
Was that their skate line?
I like their like ACG stuff. I thought that was really really cool.
ACG is always dope. Yep. And then Jordan went fucking crazy. Jordan has a huge contracts with like almost every single major basketball league right
Well,
now.
and the other thing though too, I remember The Last Dance came out kind of around pandemic, right? And I feel like that's when the Jordan, like, everybody was back into like old school retro Jordans.
The Jordan ones.
And I wonder if that was like, all right, let's just go back to the old shit. Let's just keep doing this until we see what happens.
One weird move Nike came out with, I don't know if you guys saw, but they came out with like that whole weight set, and I thought it was so whack.
A weight set.
Nike weights?
Yeah, like squat rack,
yeah.
bumper
was like
plates,
rubber-
dumbbells. But it looked like they just got generic white label shit through Nike, and it didn't have the Nike flair that they have to all their other shit.
Like it wasn't superior.
Yeah, it didn't feel like their Nike stuff, you know?
It just looks Nike.
How much do you think they gave that guy to come out of retirement?
Fucking shitload.
Because if he's retired, he's probably.
Did you hear that truck backing?
Dump the money out of his house.
Yeah, what was it like? You think it was like those action movies where this dude's in the cabin
Oh my
and he's like
God.
done, and then a helicopter comes down and it's the Nike executive team, and they're like, "We need you back," and he goes, "I'm retired."
Like one more shoe.
For that guy.
One more shoe.
I mean, the stock has tumbled 25% this year.
25 is a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
Especially for Nike, man.
And
Jeez.
since the announcement, Nike shares have jumped up more than 7%.
Dang, I didn't know people watch like that. Like, oh, he's coming back.
You know who else is powerful? If they could sign Kanye, something crazy. Because I feel like Kanye can move mountains.
I just heard that.
But he's with Adidas, no?
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
He got kicked.
No, that was a huge.
Oh, that's right, because
big
he's
bad.
It's crazy because Kanye just did a similar type of concert that he did in South Korea. He just did it in China. And
Really?
Apparently, the cities in which he did his concert in China, they had really, really unique rules for his tour.
Oh yes.
Taxi cabs had to play Kanye music.
that's tight.
Adidas stores had to be closed.
Wow.
Adidas stores had to be closed.
Blows.
Dude, Kanye found his new market.
some
It's Asia.
Chinese shit right there.
That's crazy.
Have you seen those posters? It's so funny.
Hey, what'd you think of that concert in Korea though?
I thought it was sick.
That shit was
I would love
wild.
to go to that concert. He's not even singing.
They
Bro,
just
it was
threw dirt in
wild.
the middle of a field, and then he's just fucking doing what we did in elementary school, kicking fucking dirt. It's fucking just.
But his set list was like 40, 50 songs deep, all of his number ones.
But it was crazy because the crowd, like, that's what made the show
Intent-
even
yeah.
crazier. Was that they're all singing
You
it,
could feel it in the air.
bro.
electricity,
You just
yeah.
like, oh, just
They're
talking
all
about
just
it.
dropping N bombs because it's different over
Yeah,
there.
and it's okay. It's totally okay.
Oh wow.
If you're at the concert, it's okay. I
It's
think in
okay,
that
I'm a
moment.
Korean.
We use it anyway.